Hello friends! One of my videos was dedicated to the soldering iron of CXG company E60W, which is really one of the best soldering irons on the market. The device has really very precise temperature control, temperature correction and also a password function. It requires solder tips, which are also popular. And as soon as I've got this device, I thought of its portable version. So exactly the same functions, but the power source of approximately 12 volts. Finally, the CXG company has manufactured it. Almost the same shape, except this part. Almost the same functions. The mains version has its own heater and removable solder tips, but the portable version's heater is the soldering tip at the same time. But you can also purchase this solder tip with different shapes. By default, the device comes with knife-shaped solder tip. I would like also to mention the disadvantages of the mains version. The device is really very good, but if you would like to make it portable and correspondingly to use it together with a power inverter, you should know that the device works only together with a pure sine wave inverter. So no UPS except smart versions and no common inverters with a modified sine wave. In that case, the screen displays some digits within 2 or 3 seconds and then turns off. I've turned it off then on approximately 4 times and then the electrolytic capacitor simply blew up. And the second disadvantage. Despite the power consumption of this device amounts to only 60 watts, it consumes more than 100 watts within 2 seconds. So all the 100 watt and even 150 watt inverters I used refused to work together with this device and simply shut down. So for this mains version you should use more powerful inverter. For example, 300 watt device. It's too hard for this inverter with a weak battery, but it copes with the task. You can also see the review of this 300 watt pure sine wave inverter on my channel. First of all, let's disassemble these two devices. Here we have the rear side of the boards, and on the mains version we have physical power knob, and on the portable version we should press it and hold within 2 seconds in order to turn the device on. And the front side. So if you try to operate the mains version on the modified sine wave inverter, exactly this capacitor will blow up. As to the quality, I really like the quality of CXG production. As to the package, the device comes in a small box. Here we have the manual, the device itself, the solder tip, the USB cable, hexagonal key for fixation of this solder tip, and also the gift from the manufacturer. And now about the specification, which really surprised me. Of course, this portable version cannot be equal to this device, and correspondingly can't have the power output of 60 watts. But let's pay attention to the power source. Here we have two inscriptions, DC 5525. It means outer and inner diameters of DC connector, and the second line is 5 to 24 volts. I would like to warn you and share the information of one of the users of this device who tried to use it together with 24 volt power source. The device simply blew up, so never try to use 24 volt power source to feed this soldering iron. As to the USB power source, it's necessary to mention that in case of 2 amp load, the maximum wattage will amount to 10 watts. So let's say it's not sufficient for soldering. However, in case of very thin solder tips, 10 watt power output may be sufficient. But the second moment I would like to mention is that the device is too exacting and stubborn together with some USB sources. So it's better to see it. The common 5 volt 2 amp USB charger. Let's pay attention to the screen. Off. 2 seconds. And it's okay. It's great. Five volts, 2 amps. So the device required more power and it turned off. Let's check another power supply. Off. Off. Once again. So it's not sufficient, and that's why device refuses to turn on. A very high quality device, which on the output of 5 volts has not 2 but even 3 amps. Again, it's too strange. Without the tester. So without the tester it's okay. So the first conclusion is that the device does not like USB port. So now it tries to melt a solder wire. Yes. Seconds. As for the power bank, no sense, because the output amounts to only 1 amp. But also let's try to use the power bank with 2 amp output. No. So it doesn't work. As soon as I ordered this device, I planned to use one battery power bank and install it here. But there is no sense to use this device together with a power bank. And now about my solution. For the 12-volt battery, you can use a smaller one. And the converter. USB to DC. Once again. But let's check the current. 4 amps, 3.2, 2.6, 1.9, 1.5. So in such conditions, the device is really good. Let's cut it. Yeah, it's possible. It's also possible. About the menu. Plus, minus. Oh, this is the minimum temperature. So it's set. And now the device decreases the temperature. Two seconds. Yes, it measures and decreases at the same time. Long press. Celsius, Fahrenheit. Celsius, let's wait. Long press. Oh, this is again temperature. For example, 1, 1, next 2. Let's wait. And now the temperature is set. Let's check it. Yes. Zero, 1. So in case you have the temperature 112 degrees in 1 minute, if you do absolutely nothing, it becomes 80 degrees. Let's wait. Sleep, SP. So during the sleep mode, the temperature will amount to 80 degrees. How to return to our temperature? And we have the set temperature. So the device is too smart. Now this is temperature correction. Enter. Next. We don't use it. First function, second function, third function, fourth function, and also password. But I don't need to use it. I think there is no need and even no sense to compare this portable device with the mains version, because anyway the mains version is more powerful and of course faster than the portable one. And also I would like to draw your attention to this dark spot. Besides this solder tip, I've also ordered the additional one exactly for my experiments. And when the device was on its way to me, I thought of usage of this common solder tip together with this one. Something like that. But its diameter is bigger, and the inner diameter of this solder tip is naturally smaller. I've drilled a bit and increased its inner diameter, but the fixation was still a problem for me. So after that, I've made some changes. This cylinder, as you see, is very thin. That's why I've used this nut. I've drilled it, and then I've drilled a hole here and made a corresponding thread. Let's turn the device on. And now let's increase the temperature. Will it work or not? The current decreases, but let's check the solder tip itself. No, not possible. No, it's possible. No, it's possible. And it melts. Frankly speaking, I would not recommend this method because of two circumstances. The first one is that the thermal load increases as the thermal heater has to produce more and more heat in order to get the desired temperature. And the second circumstance is that the mechanical load also increases because the device isn't designed for such loads. For example, here we have absolutely different structure. So mechanically it's too strong. But in case the tip of this solder tip is completely destroyed and there is absolutely no possibility to wait for the delivery of the new solder tip, you may use this method. If you have the USB adapter with a changeable output voltage, it also may be useful together with this soldering iron. And finally, about the advantages and disadvantages of this device. Its first and main advantage is that the device is portable. The second advantage is the variety of operation voltages. The third advantage is that the device is too lightweight, only 74 grams. The temperature range of this device starts at 80 degrees and ends at 450 degrees. As for the rest advantages, the device has precise temperature adjustment, temperature correction, Celsius-Fahrenheit switch, sleep, and even password function. The main disadvantage of this device is that it requires its special solder tips. So in case you install the solder tip of other manufacturer with the same diameter, the device will operate only on its maximum temperature, which is not normal at all. Moreover, I would like to warn you that it's not recommended to use the maximum temperature, especially for a long time. And the second disadvantage is that the device is very stubborn and refuses to operate with low-quality USB chargers. It works only with stable 5V 2A output power sources, but 3A output is much better. So I can recommend this device for everyday home use in case of 15 or 20 minutes per day. But once again, its main advantage is its portability. Hope this video was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. Wish you good luck.